Hello, everyone, and welcome to our video for today, In the Shadow of the Shutdown. So right now in the United States, our government has shut down, and that can lead to a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. And sometimes when we're feeling that fear and that uncertainty, what we have a tendency to do is engage in the three shields of the ego, which are blame, shame, and guilt. And since those are shields, we often have this tendency to place that blame, that shame, that guilt onto external people, parties, experiences, and events. And I want to offer us another way of moving through this particular experience that we're having. And it doesn't only have to go with this experience, it can go with any experience that is disturbing your peace. And so, the way that we can do this, instead of meeting it with fear, which is a natural reaction and it's totally fine if you're feeling it, but what I want to invite you to do is shift from fear into curiosity. And you might say, well, how do I do that? How can I shift from, all this uncertainty and all this fear into curiosity? And it's simply by asking yourself a very simple question. And the question is, what must I believe in order for this to be happening? Okay. And so when you think about that question, nothing may come to mind. And that's absolutely fine. I would really recommend, if you're going to do this, to definitely have like a piece of paper and a pencil or a journal so that you can write this stuff down and be like, okay, so at the top of your paper, government shutdown. And then you can start writing some emotions that you're feeling, some thoughts that you're having. And from there, you can begin to put together the beliefs that are actually holding all of those thoughts and all of those emotions together. So I want to give you a little bit of an example of this, okay? And the example could just be, so if we're looking at this, well, I must believe that we are a country divided. I must believe that nothing ever changes. I must believe that I am at the mercy of this. I must believe that there's nothing that I can do. And again, just going from there and looking at how do these thoughts, how do these feelings, how do these beliefs make you feel? Are they empowering you? Are they making you feel like, you know what, I have a choice and I have a voice? Or is it making you feel more like a victim? Is it making you feel like, well, there's just nothing I can really do? I'm just kind of stuck in this situation. And again, it doesn't have to just be about the current government shutdown. It can be about anything in your life. And this tool is not to deny what is happening. It's actually to say, look at exactly what is happening. Look at it with fresh, clear, curious eyes. Look at it. Do not bypass it. Do not say that, oh, it's not, the challenges aren't real, because they're real. And, that the impact isn't real because it's real. What we are doing with this is we are getting out of that fight, flight, and freeze response, because we're getting out of fear and we're transferring over to curiosity. And we're really taking a rational look at, well, what am I believing right now? Because the outside world is not what is causing the emotions that we're having. It's our internal way of looking at the world right now and everything that's happening that is causing our emotions. That's the cause of it. It's not what's out here. We don't fix what's out here in order to feel peaceful. We feel peaceful first, and then we are guided into actions that can help us to reflect that peace inside into the outside world. And that's what this tool is about. It's about getting you out of that fight, flight, or freeze. It's not about bypassing. It's not about ignoring what's happening. It's about taking a real, non-judgmental look at it from your own personal perspective And then being like, okay, well, do I like this? Or, do I like the way I'm feeling? Are these thoughts helping me? No. So I would like to choose other thoughts. But before we get into the choosing other thoughts, let's really talk about, well, when those thoughts and feelings and beliefs and ideas that are coming up that aren't serving you come to the surface and you recognize them. Like, this isn't working for me. This is not making me feel good. So what do we do with those? Well, like I said, this is where you get your piece of paper or you get your journal and you write all of this out, in the best detail that you can. And again, this is not about judgment. This is just about curiosity. What must I believe in order for this to be happening? Thinking about that, allowing yourself to ruminate on that. You can use those first couple things that I gave you as like a little template and then move forward from there. And as you do, as you write those down, as you make that list, and then you're like, okay, I've come to the end of the list. I can't really think of anything else. I'm starting to repeat myself. We stop. We first take that big deep breath, like in through the nose, holding it for just a minute, letting out that ha sound, dropping into our hearts. And then from there, that's when you can fold up that piece of paper. You can hold it in your hands. And, you can say to your higher power, whatever that may be for you, and for me, I would say Holy Spirit, because I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. I would say, Holy Spirit, these beliefs I give over to you. Please take them from me and heal them for me. My goal is peace. And then you can take that piece of paper and you can bury that piece of paper. You can burn that piece of paper. You can drown that piece of paper. You can rip up that piece of paper. You can feed that piece of paper. You can let your cat play with it. You can let your dog chew it up, whatever it is you want to do with that piece of paper in order for you to be like, you know what? I am surrendering these thoughts and beliefs. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be there. It doesn't mean that they're not going to come up. It just means that you are now aware of them and you're not willing to keep playing with them. Because that's what we're doing. We keep on re-engaging. We keep on replaying with them. And then again, we start to get back into those old feelings that we know aren't serving us. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now you're just bringing it into the light of your awareness. And that's how we integrate shadows. Shadows aren't something to, fight. The light does not fight the shadow. And I want you to think about it in these terms. Like when you go into a dark room and you turn on the light, does the light, cover half the room and the dark cover the other half of the room and you see them, duking it out? No, the light comes on, darkness goes because it's that light of awareness. And that's the same thing. That's what this tool is helping you to do, to turn on that light of awareness to dispel the illusions that we are currently engaged in. That's it. And that's what this tool can help you to do. And again, it's not about denying things, it's not about bypassing, it's about looking at it through a curious lens instead of a judgmental one. And again, once we start to feel more at peace, more realigned in here, then we can begin to take more responsive action instead of reactionary action. Because when we take reactionary action, a good majority of the time, it's coming from fight, flight, or freeze, right? But when we take a responsive reaction, it's more guided, it's smoother, and it comes as this brief little epiphany. It's just like, I'm going to do that. And then you do that. And then, oh my gosh, another step opens. And then, oh my gosh, another step opens. Where when you take that more fight, flight, or freeze reaction, you take one step and then you're stuck and you're sitting there looking like a rabbit, just being like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What do I do now? What do I do now? Where, when you're in that responsive state, you're just taking one peaceful step at a time. And so something else that you can do after you've kind of given it over to your higher power, you can always, 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 always ask your higher power, your guides, your angels, your higher self, the universe at large, whatever your higher power is, and say, okay, spirit, or and that would just be for me, Holy Spirit, Spirit, what would you have me do? Now, I want to be very clear on this point. You've already done your little, I'm giving this over to you. You burned it, done, buried it, ripped it up, done whatever. And you are in a much more peaceful state of mind. When you're saying, Spirit, what would you have me do? It's not, Spirit, what would you have me do in this situation? It's, Spirit, what would you have me do in this moment? Not to fix what is going on out there, but what is just my next aligned step. And it's not about getting it right or wrong. It's not about necessarily even getting an answer. It's about opening your awareness to the guidance that is there for you. It's not about expecting an answer, because oftentimes that's what happens. We expect an answer to come through in a particular way, and then it doesn't. And then we get discouraged and we're like, okay, well, source isn't talking to me. My guides aren't talking to me. Oh, they're talking. It's just you're not tuned in to the right radio station because you're looking for a specific answer to fix a specific problem in your life. And they're like, oh, we're more than happy to help you with that. But first, there are other things that we're going to invite you to do that's actually going to fix not only that, but going to fix everything else, because now you're coming into a realignment within yourself. You are realigning. You're coming back into responsiveness, not reaction. And so this is the tool. What must I believe in order for this to be happening? Get curious about it. Ask yourself about it. And again, it's not about expecting an answer. It's not about getting all of the answers right then, right there. This might be a question you ask yourself over the next couple of days. Maybe this is where you just sit and you just, allow yourself 10 minutes to write or to think or to contemplate curiously about this question. What must I believe in order for this to be happening? And it's going to help to shift you out of that heaviness of reaction, out of the heaviness of the fear, the blame, the shame, the guilt, and into a responsive place where real change can happen. Because again, it's not about changing what's out here to make us feel better. It's about realigning in here. And then what is in here will be a direct reflection of what we see in front of us. And it's not about getting into the woo-woo of it. It's just how our brains naturally work. That's like the neuroplasticity of it. Once you tell, if you tell someone, look for a pink elephant, their awareness, their perceptual filter is going to be like, okay, looking everywhere for pink elephants. And, maybe first they're just going to start seeing the color pink. Like that's just going to be like, oh my God, that's pink. And I didn't notice how much pink is all around me. And then they're going to start, recognizing animals. Oh, no, but that's not a pink elephant, but that's there's a green owl or whatever the case may be. And it's because they're open to it. You have opened your perception to it. And so that's what we're going to start doing, and for those of us that are into the teachings of Abraham, the teachings of, you live in a holographic reality, you get to create your own reality, or we're only seeing the illusion right now. This tool right here is helping you to realign yourself with the reality that you do want to see. So I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here. And I'd love to hear your comments, questions about this as we all move through this shadow together and we don't fight against it in the traditional term of, the way we used to do things, but now from an integrative, responsive point of view, not just, reaction, 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 but responsive action. So I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.